Yes, in the back.
I have a question. I don't know how to ask it. I'm not quite sure. I don't even hear me. I'm old, and you people are young. You're the next generation.
You look
This
beautiful.
is not how I was taught art in school. I'm from the old days. I want to ask you, do you, from what I understand, for all you've spoken about, do you young people see yourself more as therapists, more psychologists, than actually as art teachers? Because that's what I get this impression that this is a new world and it's very different. It has a lot to do with sociology, psychology, taking responsibility for kids who have been in a lot of bad situations like you have. And there's also, suburbia too has its problems. I know you're all in the inner city, but there's problems there too. So just let me say, are you therapists? Is that the way of the future? What really is the nature of art? And of course, it's not the neurotic creative process. So tell me, answer my question if I've asked it well.
I think that's I think the art classroom can be a place to reflect therapy in the sense that, and especially with the topics that we dealt with, is that we really encourage the students to bring in their outside experiences, and we encourage students to make art based on that, and that, at least for me, but that is what engaged students personally. I almost failed 2 art classes in high school, and that's because I wasn't, and I love art, I wasn't personally connected. There was no connection, there was no meaning, because it was just, do this, we'll learn about this artist, do this. And I think that nowadays, like, a lot of artists do reflect, contemporary artists do reflect on their experiences and their feelings and emotions and bring that into their art. And I think it's very special when we can bring in those contemporary and modern artists and encourage students to do the same, and use their practices, use their mediums. And I think that it works very well in that sense, and I could see where it reflects about art therapy. I did a lot of art therapy research for my thesis, but yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I think as art teachers, I think our role varies, and it's so complex because of the topics that we deal with day to day. We're also bringing in a lot of issues that normally people don't bring out or whatnot. So I guess, yeah, you could call us art therapists, I guess, or educators. It's such a complex thing, but I think it's necessary for students to have that place in the education field to open up and be and feel the need to just express as whatever they feel like expressing, and know that we're going to be there no matter what, and be therapists or supporters, cheerleaders,
100% agree.
Well, I also think it depends on what your definition of art is. And I have thought a lot about the fact that art being a means of expression. So how do people use a visual language to express what they're thinking? And I think that's essentially what artists have done, throughout history, to use this visual language to express their thoughts and feelings. So in a way, we're teaching young people how to do the same thing. So taking these important thoughts and expressions and say them visually, and explore visually and learn visually. So yeah.
Also, a lot of times when you're dealing with the arts, emotions come up where they might not in like a math class. And also, this relates to my thesis, arts integration sort of relates the arts to other subjects. to create more of a connection with the students to what they're learning. And there's been like recent research that claims that relating the arts to other subjects, using the arts to provide support, does help students in their education. I think that's why you've seen more of a shift towards art therapy.
I'd have to say, by no means am I a therapist.
No.
I want to provide a safe space for my students to come and explore their own identity and empower them through, their own stories. I want to provide that space for them, and there was something else I was going to say. It's left me. But I just want to provide a safe space and let them explore. And the act of making art, and the fact that my students, didn't really like the comics, the drawing, because they didn't feel as strong about that. But then the hands-on creating, when they really engaged in that, it was just the making that they really responded to, and it was about themselves.
Great. So actually we've reached the end of our time for now. And so I'd like to thank you all for these provocative, interesting questions and engaging in this discussion with us. And I'd like to thank all the panelists again for their wonderful contribution. And here's Karen.
Hi, everyone. For those of you who I haven't met yet, I'm Karen Sandloss. I'm the director of the Master of Arts in Teaching program. I want to thank all of the panelists and panel chairs who gave such terrific presentations this morning. This is a very gratifying moment for me, and I would imagine for other folks in the room who've been working with the students on these panels for almost 2 years. And I want to just give them a huge shout out. I'm very, very proud proud of the students, proud of their presentations, and proud of the conversation that's being generated here today. So thank you. We have a lunch break now. It goes from 12:15 until 1:15, and we're going to have some delicious food courtesy of Wishbone Catering. If you haven't had the Wishbone experience, yep, it's going to be good. But I want to take a moment before we all go and load up our plates. Is Sherry Fakes in the room?
She had some guests that were arriving.